If you are over 65, there is a very good chance that someone has told you to walk more. Your doctor, your family, an article you read online. Walk every day, 30 minutes, 5 days a week, and walking is good. Nobody is saying it isn't. But here is what most seniors are never told. After the age of 65, walking alone is one of the least effective forms of exercise for the specific things your body needs most. Muscle preservation, bone density, balance, joint stability, fall prevention. For every single one of these, there are 3 exercises that surgeons, orthopedic specialists, and physical therapists consistently recommend above walking. 3 exercises that most seniors have never tried. 3 exercises that require no gym membership, no expensive equipment, and in one case, nothing more than a chair. My name is Dr. Victor Harlow, and today, I am going to show you exactly what they are and how to start them this week. Let me be clear about something first. Walking is not bad for you. Walking has real, documented cardiovascular benefits. It improves mood, supports circulation, and helps maintain a healthy weight. But here is the physiological reality that changes everything after 65. Your body is facing 3 specific biological crises that walking simply does not address. The first crisis is sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass. After the age of 60, the human body loses between 3 and 8% of its muscle mass every single decade without intervention. After 70, that rate accelerates, and walking, as a low-resistance activity, does not generate enough mechanical tension on muscle fibers to stimulate the muscle protein synthesis needed to slow this loss. A landmark study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that adults who walked regularly but did not perform any resistance-based exercise continued to lose muscle mass at the same rate as sedentary individuals. Let me say that again. Walking regularly, without resistance training, did not meaningfully slow muscle loss in older adults. The second crisis is bone density decline. Osteoporosis affects over 10 million Americans over 60, and an additional 44 million have low bone density, placing them at elevated fracture risk. Bone density responds to load-bearing stress, the kind that challenges the skeletal system beyond its normal walking load. Simple walking on flat surfaces does not generate sufficient skeletal stress to stimulate bone remodeling in most adults over 65. The third crisis is neuromuscular decline, the weakening of the communication system between your brain and your muscles. This is the primary driver of falls in older adults. Not weak legs alone, but a slowing of the neural signals that tell your muscles to react, stabilize, and correct your balance in real time. Walking does not meaningfully train neuromuscular coordination. It reinforces an existing movement pattern, but it does not challenge the balance and stability systems that prevent falls. For all 3 of these crises, the research points consistently to 3 specific types of exercise that walking cannot replace. Before I reveal the 3 exercises, I want to explain why I specifically use the phrase surgeon approved. Orthopedic surgeons occupy a unique position in the understanding of senior exercise. They see with their own hands the consequences of muscle loss, bone deterioration, and fall injuries in adults over 65. They perform hip replacements on patients whose bones have become too fragile to support normal movement. They repair fractures caused by falls that proper exercise could have prevented. When orthopedic surgeons make exercise recommendations for their patients after 65, those recommendations are shaped by seeing every single day what happens to bodies that were not properly conditioned. The American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, the American College of Sports Medicine, and the National Institute on Aging all converge on the same recommendation for adults over 65. Resistance training, aquatic exercise, and functional strength training Not instead of walking, but in addition to it, and with higher priority. These are the 3 exercises. And here is exactly what the science says about each one. Number 1, resistance band training. Resistance bands are elastic bands of varying tension levels that create mechanical load on muscles throughout a range of motion. They are inexpensive, typically costing between $8 and $20. They require no gym. They can be used seated, standing, or lying down. And they are one of the most research-supported tools for addressing sarcopenia in adults over 65. A meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, analyzing 49 randomized controlled trials, found that resistance training, including resistance band exercise, was the single most effective intervention for increasing muscle strength, improving functional mobility, and reducing fall risk in older adults. More effective than walking, more effective than cycling, more effective than yoga. For adults over 65, resistance band training specifically targets the muscle groups most critical for daily independence. The hip abductors, the muscles that stabilize your pelvis when you walk and climb stairs. The quadriceps, your primary knee stabilizers, and the muscles that allow you to rise from a chair without using your hands. The posterior chain, your glutes, hamstrings, and lower back, which are the primary muscles that prevent the forward hunched posture that develops with age and compresses the spine. 3 resistance band exercises performed 3 times per week. Seated leg presses against the band, standing hip abductions with the band around the thighs, and seated rows for the upper back. Address all 3 of these critical muscle groups simultaneously. No weights, no gym, no risk of dropping anything on your feet. Just consistent progressive resistance applied to the muscles your independence depends on. Exercise number 2, water walking or swimming. If you have joint pain in your knees, your hips, your spine, this exercise may be the single most important thing I tell you today. Water reduces the effective weight load on your joints by up to 90%. A person who weighs 160 pounds on land weighs approximately 16 pounds when submerged to the neck in water. This means your joints experience almost no compressive force, while your muscles work significantly harder than they would on land. Because water provides resistance in every direction of movement, not just against gravity. The clinical evidence is exceptional. A randomized controlled trial published in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation found that aquatic exercise produced significantly greater improvements in pain, physical function, and muscle strength in adults with knee and hip osteoarthritis compared to land-based walking programs. Another study from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that water walking at moderate intensity produced muscle activation levels equivalent to brisk land walking, while generating less than 10% of the joint impact force. You get the cardiovascular benefit of walking. You get meaningful muscle activation. You get improved balance through the resistance of the water against your movements. And you do all of it with almost zero joint stress. For seniors with arthritis, recent joint replacement, spinal stenosis, or any condition that makes land exercise painful, aquatic exercise is not just an alternative to walking. It is superior in almost every clinically meaningful way. Most community centers, YMCAs, and municipal pools across America offer senior aquatic programs. Many are free or low cost with Medicare Advantage plans. If you have access to a pool, use it. 3 sessions per week of 30 minutes each produces results that walking simply cannot match for the aging body. Exercise number 3, chair-based strength training. This is the exercise I recommend most urgently to seniors who have been told they cannot exercise due to balance problems, recent surgery, severe joint pain, or limited mobility. Because this exercise requires nothing more than a sturdy chair, no equipment, no gym, no standing balance required. Chair-based strength training uses the body's own weight in a seated or supported position to challenge the muscles responsible for the most critical functional movements of daily senior life: rising from a chair, lifting groceries, climbing stairs, reaching overhead, maintaining posture. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that chair-based exercise programs performed 3 times per week for 12 weeks produced significant improvements in lower body strength, functional mobility, and balance confidence in adults over 70, including those with significant mobility limitations. Let me give you 3 specific movements that form the foundation of an effective chair-based program. The seated leg raise. Sitting tall in a firm chair, straighten one leg until it is parallel to the floor. Hold for 5 seconds. Lower slowly. This targets the quadriceps, your primary knee stabilizers. 10 repetitions each side. The chair squat. Standing directly in front of a chair, slowly lower yourself until you just touch the seat. Then rise back to standing without using your hands. This is the single most functional exercise a senior can perform. It replicates the exact movement pattern of standing from a toilet, a car seat, or a sofa. 10 repetitions. The seated shoulder press. Holding 2 light canned goods or water bottles, press both arms overhead from shoulder height. Lower slowly. This maintains the shoulder strength required for overhead reaching and carrying, one of the first functional movements seniors lose with age. 10 repetitions, 3 movements, 3 sets each, 3 times per week. This program takes less than 15 minutes. It can be done in your living room, and it addresses the exact muscle groups that determine whether you remain functionally independent in the years ahead. Here is how to combine all 3 into a simple weekly schedule. Monday, resistance band training, 20 minutes. Focus on legs and upper back. Wednesday, water walking or swimming, 30 minutes at your community pool or YMCA. Friday, chair-based strength training, 15 minutes in your living room. Saturday or Sunday, you're walking, 30 minutes at whatever pace is comfortable. That is 4 days of purposeful movement, covering cardiovascular health, muscle preservation, bone density, joint protection, and neuromuscular coordination simultaneously. And the most important rule of all, start where you are. If you can only do 5 repetitions instead of 10, do 5. If water walking is all you can manage for 15 minutes, do 15 minutes. The goal is not perfection in week 1. The goal is consistency across the next 12 weeks, because the research is unanimous. 12 weeks of this combined approach produces changes in strength, balance, and functional mobility that walking alone could never achieve in 12 months. Walking will always have a place in a healthy senior lifestyle, but after 65, your body needs more than a daily walk to stay strong, stable, and independent. It needs resistance. It needs support. It needs challenge. These 3 exercises provide exactly that, in ways that walking simply cannot. Resistance bands for your muscles, water for your joints, a chair for your foundation. The seniors who remain functionally independent into their 80s and 90s are not the ones who simply walked every day. They are the ones who gave their bodies the specific training those bodies needed at the right stage of life. You now know what that training looks like. Start this week, not next month. This week. If this video gave you something your doctor's appointment never had time to cover, please subscribe to this channel. Every Tuesday at 9 a.m., I bring you science-backed health education built specifically for your body after 60. I am Dr. Victor Harlow. Stay strong, stay informed.